Have some fire. Be unstoppable. Be a force of nature. Be better than anyone here. And don't give a damn what anyone thinks. There are no teams here.
Everything that has a beginning must surely have an end. But when the end becomes more common, it makes the cause of the end more questionable. Today, we will be talking about a favorite show, Grey's Anatomy, and the real reason why its main characters left. Join us as we go on the jolly ride. Grey's Anatomy. Grey's Anatomy is a long-running medical drama that premiered on the 27th of March, 2005, on ABC. Created by Shonda Rhimes, the show follows the personal and professional lives of surgical interns, residents, and attendings at Seattle Grace Hospital, later renamed Grey Sloan Memorial Hospital. The series primarily revolves around Dr. Meredith Grey, played by Ellen Pompeo, as she chronicles her journey from intern to chief of general surgery. The show has been praised for its emotional storytelling, diverse cast, and compelling character arcs, making it one of the longest-running scripted primetime series on ABC. It has also spawned 2 spin-offs, Private Practice and Station. However, some of its main characters left the show for certain reasons. Let's see why. Jesse Williams, the burning desire for growth. Jesse, the character who played Dr. Jackson Avery from Season 6 to Season 17 of the show, officially exited the series in 2021 after more than a decade on the show. His departure was announced in May 2020, and his final episode aired on the 20th of that same month, titled Tradition. His exit was graced with Jackson's decision to leave Grey Sloan Memorial Hospital to run the Catherine Fox Foundation and focus on addressing racial inequalities in healthcare. His exit was not conflict-driven, but instead, it was a deliberate decision to expand his role in the entertainment industry, especially behind the scenes and on stage. In a Deadline interview, he stated, "I need to get out of my comfort zone. I need to go out into the unknown. I want to be fully alive in uncertain spaces." He, upon exit, also expressed profound appreciation for the platform the show provided him, rather than resentment or dissatisfaction. He is noted to have said, "I will forever be grateful for the boundless opportunities provided by Shonda, the network studio, fellow castmates, our incredible crew, Krista, Ellen, and Debbie." He later went on to star in Broadway's Take Me Out, and became involved in other film and television productions, including socially conscious content through his production company, Farward Inc. Eric Dane, known as Mark Sloan. Eric, who had played the role of Dr. Mark Sloan and joined Grey's Anatomy in Season 2, became one of the series' regulars by Season 3. Sadly, he exited the show in Season 9, following the demise of his character in a plane crash storyline. His decision to leave Grey's Anatomy was both creative and informed by his desire to pursue other professional opportunities. In July 2012, TV Line reported that Eric would be leaving the show, and he confirmed his exit in a statement, expressing gratitude to the members of ABC. In turn, this elicited a response from the showrunner Shonda Rhimes. For his appreciation, he stated, "I am very grateful to everyone at Grey's, ABC, and Shondaland for the experience and memories I have had throughout this run. It has been wonderful to work alongside and learn from a creative force such as Shonda Rhimes." Shonda Rhimes' response was a reflection that his leaving the show was an acceptable decision by members of the crew. She stated, "We're a big family here at Grey's with a long history together, and Eric will always remain an important part of our family. I wish him the best, and I look forward to watching him as he continues to steam up the big and small screen." Eric later sought to clear the rumors swirling around his departure, and made it plain that his leaving was not based on conflict or dissatisfaction with the show. In his 2013 interview with Entertainment Weekly, he stated, "I love doing Grey's Anatomy. I would have done it until the final episode, but this was something I couldn't pass up." This was something he couldn't pass up, and it would later be revealed to be his new role on The Last Ship, a TNT series for which he began filming immediately after departing the set of Grey's Anatomy. His exit from the set was a peaceful and friendly transition in his career. It was incorporated into the plot by killing off Mark Sloan in the aftermath of the Season 8 plane crash, thus allowing for emotional closure within the show's narrative. Justin Chambers, family, and mental health. The character who portrayed Dr. Alex Karev since the inception of the show in 2005 shocked his fans when he announced his desire to quit halfway through season 16. He was one of the original 5 surgical interns who began the series and a fan favorite. Imagine the impact it had on both fans and colleagues alike. His exit marked the end of a major era on Grey's Anatomy. He released a public statement to this effect in January 2020 via Deadline, where he explained the reason behind his decision as a result of wanting to diversify roles and career choices. To this effect, he stated, "There's no good time to say goodbye to a show and character that's defined so much of my life for the past 15 years. For some time now, however, I have hoped to diversify my acting roles and career choices. And as I turn 50, I'm now looking forward to life, spending time with my family, and seeking new career paths." His last appearance on the show aired on the 14th of November 2019 in season 16, episode 8. By the time his exit from the show was announced, he had already left production, and the show eventually wrote off his character through narration in episode 16, while explaining that the character Alex had reunited with his ex-wife, Izzie Stevens, and was living in Kansas with their children. It is essential to note that, before this time, these characters were previously unknown and were created to mitigate the impact of his departure. While there were no reports of conflict between Justin Chambers and the show's cast or crew, Page 6 and US Weekly reported that he had sought treatment for mental health-related issues at a facility in Connecticut before his exit. However, these reports were never officially confirmed by the Chambers or ABC, and he has not spoken further about his reasons beyond his earlier published statement. Later on, executive producer Krista Vernoff addressed the situation in an interview where he stated, "It was a very careful threading of a needle, where we gave a little bit of information and pain to Joe and a little bit of information and pain to Meredith, but we had to do it without being able to shoot anything with Justin. Remember the saying, 'Health is wealth'? It is therefore no surprise that he exited Grey's Anatomy. It can therefore be concluded that his exit can easily be connected to health concerns and a desire to focus on family life while also exploring other career options." Sarah Drew, who played the role of April Kepner from season 6 to season 14, with a few guest appearances in later seasons, portrayed a trauma surgeon with strong religious convictions and a deeply emotional journey. Her character faced significant personal and professional challenges, including faith crises and family tragedies. The show's creative team had decided that she and Jessica Capshaw would exit the show at the end of season 14. The decision was strictly because they felt they had fulfilled their roles. Ellen Pompeo vigorously denied every report that connected their departure to her new $20 million per annum salary. However, to Drew, "I was told that the show had too many characters and that they needed to downsize because they couldn't service all of the characters effectively." Drew stated that the news was unexpected to her, as she was going to be let go during an episode. She said she later returned to her trailer, cried, and called her people before continuing with work the next day. She also acknowledged the feelings of shock and distress, and later compared that experience to attending her funeral, especially when she saw the outpouring of love from fans and colleagues. According to People magazine, she stated, "In a way, you almost feel like you're attending your funeral. The outcry of support was so extraordinary." Despite her initial emotional outbursts, during which she called the exit mean and unjust, she eventually accepted the decision. She said she had no attachment to the show, now returning only as a guest, all without any anxiety. In her final episode, she received a heartfelt closing arc, marrying Matthew Taylor and leaving Seattle to become a missionary first responder. She has since reframed the exit as a blessing in disguise, as she has taken on new acting roles and dove into directing and producing. She often describes those times as a period of beautiful rebirth that allowed her to explore other creative possibilities. Jessica Capshaw. Jessica Capshaw, who played the role of Arizona Robbins from season 5 to season 14, from 2009 to 2018 of Grey's Anatomy, a pediatric surgeon popular for her compassion and strong advocacy for patients, was a landmark figure for the LGBTQ+ representation on network television. She was married to Callie Torres in Season 7, a character played by Sarah Ramirez, and together they had a daughter named Sophia Robin Sloan Torres, a girl conceived by Mark Sloan, Callie's friend and Sophia's biological father. Judging by reports from ABC and Deadline, the decision stemmed from the showrunner Shonda Rhimes and the writer's room, who believed that Arizona's story arc had reached a natural conclusion and that the narrative needed space for fresh characters with new dynamics. The executive producer, Krista Vernoff, reaffirmed this decision while explaining that sometimes writing off beloved characters was necessary to follow where stories wanted to go. The decision met with no hate, and the cast and crew's statements emphasized mutual respect. Capshaw expressed gratitude when she noted Arizona's lasting importance not just to the fans but to the LGBTQ+ representation on network television, while Ellen Pompeo and Vernoff clarified that her departure was creativity-born and not financial. The series finale of Season 14, All of Me, provided Arizona with a heartfelt farewell as she relocated to New York to support her daughter and open a women's health clinic. This ending did feel true to her character's growth. It is worth noting that growth may not always be a linear decision. For Arizona, it meant leaving that area to move to New York, where she could pursue her dreams and care for her daughter. Ellen Pompeo, the Meredith Grey. Ellen Pompeo, who was the main character of the series, is the daughter of Ellis Grey, who began as a surgical intern at Seattle Grace Hospital, which later became Gray Sloan Memorial Hospital. She later worked her way up to the position of a board-certified general surgeon, and eventually, the chief of general surgery was leaving the show. What a controversy that must have caused the Grey's Anatomy crew. What could be the reason for her decision? And what was the reaction her leaving elicited for the show? She decided to leave the show, not due to conflict or any creative differences, but because she desired to pursue new opportunities and reduce her workload after nearly 2 decades on the show. At the beginning of Season 19, she reduced her on-screen appearances, appearing in about 8 episodes that season and 4 in Season 20. She had 7 on-screen appearances planned for Season 21, but continues narrating the show and remains its executive producer. She further told El País in an interview that leaving completely would make no sense, both emotionally and financially, as she noted that the show was streamed over 1 billion times in 2024, generating substantial revenue from the use of her voice, image, and likeness. She further expressed that walking away would allow others to benefit from her 2 decades of hard work, while she would receive no further share. As the star of the show in 2005, she had remained undervalued compared to her co-star Patrick Dempsey. From 2017 to 2018, she negotiated an annual contract of $20 million, estimated at $575,000 per episode, thereby becoming the highest-paid actress in a TV drama. She secured producer credits and back-end equity, recognizing her contribution to Grey's Anatomy's overwhelming success, which reportedly generated nearly $3 billion for Disney. In an interview with Variety in 2022, she reiterates, "I've been doing this for 18 years, and it's exhausting. There's a part of me that's ready to step back and focus on other things. It's hard to do this job for so long, but I'm proud of the work I've done." It is then safe to say that Ellen Pompeo, who had been with the show since day one in 2005, did not resign from the cast of Grey's Anatomy, but rather decided to cut the workload. Her decision can be attributed to a desire for a more balanced life to prevent burnout, a combination of thoughtful financial planning and her respect for her impact on the series and its audience. She, however, continues to benefit from and contribute to the show's legacy, primarily through voiceover acting, even as she explores other creative chapters in her life. Erica Hahn, the LGBTQ+ controversy. The actor Brooke Smith, who portrayed the role of Dr. Erica Hahn on Grey's Anatomy, abruptly exited the series in Season 5. Although no one on the set could tell the real reason for her departure, most people believe it was a result of behind-the-scenes decisions made by the showrunners and ABC network. Rumors have it that executives at ABC were uncomfortable with the development of a lesbian romance storyline between Erica Hahn, played by her character, and Dr. Callie Torres, played by actress Sarah Ramirez. Although the series creator had initially supported the story, pressure from the executives led to its curtailment. She revealed in an interview, "I was told that my character was not working for the network. I found it very disconcerting and confusing." To this effect, ABC released a statement where they claimed the decision was creatively born and not related to the storyline's LGBTQ+ elements. Later on, Shonda Rhimes clarified that Brooke Smith was not fired for playing a lesbian. "It's not an issue as we have a lesbian character on the show, Calliope Torres." However, despite the clarification, the handling of Dr. Hahn's storyline and exit drew massive criticism from fans. LGBTQ+ advocacy groups saw the move as a step backward in network television representation. Sandra Oh, also known as Cristina Yang. Sandra Oh, the series doctor, Cristina Yang, left the show at the end of season 10 in 2014 of her own volition. This was due to her belief that it was time for her to move on both personally and professionally after she had given everything to the character and wanted to pursue new creative challenges. At the time, she was one of the cast members who signed a 2-year deal in 2012, which sealed her return for season 12. However, upon expiration, the terms of the contract no longer bound her. In an interview with The Hollywood Reporter in 2013, she shared that she had begun considering leaving the show when she and her co-stars signed the 2-year deal. This was because she had felt that, creatively, she was ready to let Cristina go. She said, "I'm proud of what I've done here, but I also know that it's time for me to leave. I want to stretch myself as an artist, and I've been on this show for a long time. I've always felt that when something is good, it's best to leave while it's still good." The show's creator was extremely supportive of her decision to let Cristina go, and thanks to this, contrary to the exits of other Season 1 stars, she was given a proper ending where she didn't lose her life. Having worked hard all her life, she received an offer from Preston Burke to become the director of the Klausmann Institute for Medical Research in Zurich, Switzerland, a prestigious and advanced state-of-the-art cardiovascular research center that he had been leading. This decision, according to him, was born out of his notice of a need for someone brilliant and equally innovative to take over, a description he believed ideally suited Cristina. This opportunity gave Cristina the long rope she desired, as she took the offer and left Gray Sloan Memorial Hospital on her terms, continuing to advance in her field as a groundbreaking cardiothoracic surgeon. Even after leaving the cast of Grey's Anatomy, she remained on really good terms with the other cast and crew members, and her exit from the show was respected as a thoughtful and mutually understood decision for growth. She further went on to star in several other projects, including the critically acclaimed series Killing Eve. T.R. Knight, otherwise known as George O'Malley. Knight, best friend to Izzie Stevens in the series, was the one doctor who struggled to find his bearings during surgery at first, but eventually became a very skilled and talented surgeon at Gray Sloan Memorial Hospital. By season 5, he decided to join the U.S. Army in Iraq. However, on his way home, he jumped in front of a bus to save a woman's life, thus leaving him disfigured and unidentifiable by his colleagues until he traced the number 007 on the hands of Meredith. His brain swelled incredibly during surgery, thus leading to his death. However, this was a result of a behind-the-scenes encounter or a series of encounters first spurred by the 2006 LGBTQ derogatory accusations from co-star Isaac Washington. After the accusation, in an interview with People shortly after the incident, he stated, "I guess there have been a few questions about my sexuality, and I would like to quiet any unnecessary rumors that may be out there. While I prefer to keep my personal life private, I hope the fact that I'm gay isn't the most interesting part of me." It is essential to note, however, that this was not the primary reason for his departure in Season 6. The then 51-year-old actor told Entertainment Weekly at the time that there had been a breakdown in communication with the series' creator, Shonda Rhimes. He had also previously shared that he was uncomfortable with where his character was being led, and that he struggled with the storyline where George cheated on Callie with Izzie. He also stated that he received significantly less screen time and limited dialogue with other characters, which made him question his role and future on the series. In Season 5, his character appeared for only 48 minutes as compared to Christina's 114 minutes of screen time. He also disclosed this after the public controversy where he had declared his gay status. He had felt unsupported, and while Isaiah Washington was dismissed from the show, he said that the incident affected his working environment and contributed to his sense of isolation on set. To avoid questioning members of the crew about his character's development, he decided that the best course of action was to quit Grey's Anatomy. His words exactly were, "My 5-year experience proved to me that I could not trust any answer that was given about George. And with respect, I'm going to leave it at that. There just comes a time when it's so clear that moving on is the best decision." He also stopped probing the creators about his character's development, which in turn led to his decision to quit Grey's Anatomy. A decision that his friend Heigl tried to talk him out of, but his mind was made up, and there was no turning back. He admitted that he knew that there are a lot of people who would like to be in my position, but in the end, I need to be fulfilled in my work. Katherine Heigl, a quest to consider women's representation or not. Katherine Heigl, who played the role of Dr. Isabel Izzie Stevens from the first season, was one of the original main characters. She was introduced in Season 1 as a surgical intern at Seattle Grace Hospital and was known for her empathetic bedside manner, strong emotional intelligence, and complex personal storylines. She left the show after Season 6 in 2010, and her departure was speculated to be related to dissatisfaction with the writing of her character and conflicts with the production team. Earlier in 2008, after being considered for the Emmy, she withdrew her name because she was not given material worthy of nomination. As would be expected, this action and words were perceived as a slight against the show's writers. She became more vocal, and her growing film career commitments widened. She also began to experience a work-life balance situation. And in 2009, she requested some time off the show to enable her focus on her family and adoptive motherhood, as well as external projects. This leave was granted to her, but that was set to be the last time she was seen on any episode, as she never returned to fulfill her contract. Afterward, ABC and Heigl reached a mutual agreement to release her from her contract early, and she officially left the cast of Grey's Anatomy in 2010. 13 years after her last episode, however, she and Ellen reunited for Variety's Actors on Actors series, where they discussed their time on Grey's Anatomy together, as well as everything surrounding her departure. Katherine at this point stated that it was due to the anxiety she felt at the height of her Grey's Anatomy fame, and while she was not yet a master of her emotions, she was now better at dealing with it than she once was. She also attributed her actions to a lack of self-confidence. In her words, "I would not trade anything for my 20s. I had no idea who I was, what I wanted, who I was supposed to be, and who to make happy. Just a massive lack of self-confidence." And then Grey's hit, the success of Grey's hit, and I think it was borrowed confidence. When probed about her lack of control with words, she said it was because she had a lot to say, and that there were certain boundaries and things that she was not okay with being crossed. She also reiterated that it felt like she was standing up for herself and that she was prepared not to be liked for her decision. Ellen also added that Katherine's action could be attributed to her speaking up about the working conditions on set, which at the time were unfavorable, and how Katherine at the time was forward-thinking, as these were sources of concern for the women. She also mentioned how nobody liked a confident woman. She said, "Listen, nobody likes a confident woman. They would rather you be a woman looking for your confidence than a confident woman, because that makes them nervous. Sweet, that can handle. Strong, they can't." Isaiah Washington, the first of the cast to leave. Isaiah, who played the role of Dr. Preston Burke, the chief cardiothoracic surgeon at Seattle Grace Hospital, was highly skilled and was a central figure in the earlier seasons of the series. He was a regular character, appearing from Season 1 to Season 3, and was exceptional for his professional partnership with Dr. Derek Shepherd and his romantic involvement with Dr. Cristina Yang, whom he broke up with after rumors of their rank differences caused a scandal. The duo, however, got back together after Cristina had a miscarriage. He left Grey's Anatomy in 2007 after a controversy where he used a homophobic slur. According to People magazine, he was terminated as a cast member after using a homophobic slur on set. The fight was with co-star Patrick Dempsey after he was confronted for being late to set. According to some accounts, Dempsey was often frustrated when actors were unable to film on time, and this day Washington was no exception. The heated verbal exchange between the two led up to Washington using the homophobic slur about T.R. Knight, who was not in any way involved in the altercation. While some accounts claim that the dispute turned physical, no confirmation has been made. T.R. Knight came out to confirm publicly that the slur was directed at himself as he was gay, a fact unknown to most people, thus riling up other members of the set that he would expose a colleague's secret. The situation worsened when, at the Golden Globes press room in 2007, he denied ever using the slur. However, in the process, he reused the word and received an even worse backlash from the public and advocacy groups, such as GLAAD. All of these events, including the onset of the fight, the exposure of a colleague's secret, his denial, and the public reaction, contributed to his not receiving a contract renewal from ABC upon expiration. In an interview with People magazine in 2007, he is reported to have said, "I deeply regret my comments, and I apologize to anyone who may have been hurt or offended by them. I take full responsibility for what I said, and I am trying to learn from this experience." It seemed later on that the actor kept to his word, as he later appeared as a guest actor once in Season 10 in the episode We Are Never Getting Back Together, and was on good terms with the other actors, a sign that everyone had moved on from the incident. Thus, this incident led to Isaiah Washington being the very first main character to leave Grey's Anatomy after featuring in just 3 episodes of the show. The show's writer, Shonda Rhimes, reiterated that it was a difficult decision that had to be made regardless to ensure a good working environment. She stated that, "I do not believe the action of one individual should taint the work of an entire group. It is evident to all that Grey's Anatomy has undergone several evolutions in its characters, witnessing both the growth and departure of even its most famous characters, yet the TV series continues to thrive. Does that mean they are doing something exceptionally well?" Let us know your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Before you go, watch the other videos on your screen.